So, in this series discussing the future, I am really happy today to be talking with Serge Brunschwig, Chairman and CEO of Fendi. Hello, Serge.
Hello, Alan. Great talking to you.
Well, let's start. Here we are in Milan Fashion Week, but I want to ask you about this amazing and difficult time that we're facing, not just with the pandemic, but with all these many changes we're seeing, the physical, the digital. What's your take on these changes? What do you see as the result of all this?
I mean, it's first, I see a lot of creativity. I think we are, of course, firsthand witnessing the capacity of reaction, of reactivity in this industry. And it's amazing. I must say that without disclosing numbers, we are in a capacity to do now things that never we thought we would have been possible to do. I think that's clearly a big asset of the luxury industry, of the luxury brand. I mean, there's so much done over the generations that, in fact, this potential can be maximized in many different ways. So before the pandemic, you are used to a certain way. For example, you sell to tourists, you do things which, of course, are the easiest to do. If overnight those tourists disappear, sure, you're a little bit destabilized, but in fact, you find in yourself using the techniques, using the capacity of each and everyone in the company to go forward, invent a new way to do. That's quite fascinating.
And a good example of that is digital, where Fendi's owner, LVMH, has been a pioneer in digital and e-commerce.
No, clearly that is, frankly, of course, something which we had started and suddenly potentialized. But also, I would say, things like distance selling, in which, by the way, that's something which were existing already, for example, in the US for many years. But suddenly you discover you can also do it in other geographies. Or you can also, why not do this distance selling using video conference, just like we are doing now, and not necessarily in-person visits. That's only examples of things that progressively you can put in place very successfully, because at the other end, you have a client, in fact, who loves the brand, loves the brands, and is super happy in these difficult times to be reached, to speak, to get news,
to
and
interact.
Why not
to interact. Yeah.
And why not propose the beautiful things that you continue to do?
Sure. And what's your short-term or medium-term forecast for Fendi?
I mean, it's again, without revealing too precise numbers, because I'm not in a position to do. I would say that fortunately, I mean, the second half of the year, in the year in which we are able to do as well as last year, I would say, which is already in itself a performance. So I'm not speaking about catching up of what is lost in the first and second quarter, but already being able not to lose more is a challenge. Frankly, it's an achievement that I'm super proud of, and which I would not have anticipated to this level.
The other big subject that we're talking about at Milan Fashion Week is sustainability. What does sustainability mean for Fendi?
It means a lot. I think, like for everybody, it's very clear that if you want to continue to be in the minds of everybody, we must play our part in the conservation and improvement of the world. I mean, there is no way that we can go the other direction. Okay, so it's important for our employees, it's important for our clients, so it's important for the brand. So it's a priority. And it's the same thing. When you start playing with these things, you realize that there are many things you can do. In fact, not too much difficulty, and in fact with a lot of results. The use of recycled materials, the upcycling of furs, for example, which is a great example of that. Is something which has been existing and has been worn by somebody, in fact, can be retransformed into something new for somebody else. Why not?
Probably the most important strength when I think of the Made in Italy brand is the know-how, the tradition, the craftsmanship. It's very important to have that for a new generation of highly trained workers. So what can be done, in your opinion, to attract more young people into these craft professions?
Thank you for going into this, because clearly, I mean, when I speak about sustainability, environment is only one aspect. The other aspect, as important, is the sustainability of the society. And a country like Italy is made of artisan. I mean, there are many, many great things, but artisan and luxury artisan are part of it. So it's extremely important that we work on the regeneration of this, so that we support the existing small companies, for example, number one. But number two, that we train and create a new generation of artisans, so that we pass to the families of today and their children
the know-how
and the envy to do this. That's something maybe which has been missing, is we must render these jobs attractive, and we must give to the young people of today the desire to work for us, to work for these brands in this capacity, in this creative and artisanal capacity.
Absolutely. And the craftsmanship in Fendi is legendary. So good to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time, Serge Brunschwig.
Thank you, Alan.